The atmosphere in the studio was electric the moment Donald Trump took his seat, exuding his usual confidence as the cameras rolled. Across from him sat Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett, a sharp and outspoken political figure known for her no-nonsense approach. From the outset, the conversation was intense, with both sides trading pointed remarks about policy, past scandals, and current political controversies. The audience, split between supporters and critics, hung on every word. It seemed like a typical high-profile televised debate, until Crockett shifted gears. With a calm but cutting tone, she hinted at having personal knowledge about Trump's marriage, a topic that had long been surrounded by media speculation. The crowd stirred, sensing a storm brewing just beneath the surface. Trump's expression hardened instantly. He leaned forward, eyes narrowed, and demanded to know what Crockett was insinuating. She paused, letting the silence build tension, before stating, "The American people deserve to know the truth, not just about your policies, but about the character of the man making decisions that affect their lives." Then, with the precision of a seasoned prosecutor, she began referencing a series of reports and leaked communications suggesting turbulence and distrust behind the closed doors of Trump Tower. Gasps erupted from the audience, some shocked by the boldness of the attack, others thrilled to see someone challenge Trump so directly on personal matters. Trump, never one to back down, immediately launched into a counterattack. He accused Crockett of spreading fake news and being part of a coordinated smear campaign orchestrated by his political enemies. His voice rose, his gestures became sharper, and the usual television polish gave way to raw frustration. "This is disgraceful," he barked, "and you should be ashamed of yourself." Crockett, however, remained composed, her steady gaze locked on him as she insisted she was merely bringing transparency to a man who had built his career on controlling the narrative. As the host tried to regain control of the conversation, the back and forth intensified. Trump began interrupting, accusing Crockett of defamation, while she repeatedly pressed him to respond to specific questions about alleged incidents during his marriage. The studio felt like it had shifted from a political talk show into a high-stakes courtroom drama. Every sentence seemed to raise the stakes, and the audience's reactions only fueled the fire. Some were cheering Trump's defiance, others were shouting encouragement toward Crockett. Then came the moment that would dominate headlines. Crockett leaned in and, in a voice just loud enough for the microphones to catch every word, detailed an alleged incident that had supposedly been covered up to protect Trump's public image. Her delivery was calm, methodical, and devastatingly direct. Trump froze for a fraction of a second before firing back with a tirade that seemed more emotional than strategic. His face flushed, and his hands slammed onto the table as he accused Crockett of lying to gain political points. But in that instant, the damage was already done. The audience had heard the claim, and the internet would soon do the rest. Commercial breaks couldn't come fast enough for the producers, who scrambled behind the scenes to prepare for the media storm they knew was coming. During the pause, Trump's aides reportedly huddled around him, urging him to either walk off the set or pivot to a safer topic. Crockett sat quietly, sipping water, her expression betraying no sign of regret. When they returned from break, Trump attempted to steer the conversation toward the economy and foreign policy, but Crockett wasn't done. She made one final remark about leaders leading by example in their own homes, before the host abruptly cut to another topic. Within minutes of the episode airing, social media platforms exploded. Clips of the exchange began trending on Twitter, TikTok, and YouTube. Hashtags like #TrumpMarriageBombshell and #CrockettConfrontsTrump shot to the top of the charts. Supporters of Crockett hailed her as fearless, while Trump loyalists condemned her as vindictive and unprofessional. Political commentators flooded cable news with debates over whether the confrontation had crossed an ethical line or whether it was a legitimate line of questioning for a public figure. The next morning, Trump addressed the incident in a series of posts on Truth Social, dismissing Crockett's statements as vicious lies and election interference at its worst. Crockett, meanwhile, doubled down in interviews, insisting that public leaders should expect public scrutiny not just of their policies but of their personal conduct when it impacts public trust. The clash became the focal point of political talk shows, with analysts dissecting every gesture, every facial expression, and every choice of words from both sides. As the news cycle churned, legal experts weighed in, noting that while Trump could pursue defamation claims, Such cases were notoriously difficult for public figures to win, especially when tied to matters of public interest. Some speculated that Crockett's bold move was a calculated risk, aimed at forcing Trump into a defensive posture on national television. Others believed it was a genuine act of holding him accountable, regardless of the political fallout. By week's end, the confrontation had become more than just a moment of television drama. It had entered the broader cultural conversation about politics, truth, and the personal lives of public figures. Whether it would hurt or help Trump in the long run remained uncertain, but one thing was clear: Jasmine Crockett had managed to pierce the armor of one of the most media-savvy politicians in modern history, and she had done it in a way that ensured people would still be talking about it long after the cameras stopped rolling. In the months that followed, the incident continued to resurface in interviews, political ads, and online debates. For Trump, it became yet another battle in a career defined by controversy. For Crockett, it solidified her reputation as someone willing to ask the questions others avoided, regardless of the consequences. And for the viewing public, it served as a reminder that live television can still produce moments of genuine shock, moments that reshape narratives and ripple far beyond the confines of a single broadcast.